Welcome everybody. That shortened a little bit intro to Stone Blue. Great song by Foghat. So it's in standard tuning. We'll go over all the slide, all the rhythms, and the little nuances within. Like I said, we're in standard tuning. I've written out tab for this, so it'll be right below the video, so you can download that. So to start the song out with, we go from a suspended, we'll just call this a suspended. It's an A really over D, or D over A I should say. I'm just going to call it a suspended because we're on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 4th fret of the 4th string. So we're going to play that and then off to A, and then the nuance is he stops just slightly because this is a quick rhythm. And then we go into 2, and there will be a lot of back and forth. 2 and 4s and 6s, or 5s, I'm sorry, with our pinky. So we're going to go 2, 4, 2, 2, and then 4. And then there's a pause. Then he does a quick 2, 4, and then are suspended back to A and a stop. Alright, so counting our first suspended to A, we'll do it 4 times. After the 4th time, we're going to go until the 2 where we stop. And then what you could do rather than stop is just hit that A. So when we hit that A, we're going to take the 5th string, hit it again, hammer in to the 4th fret, and then hit the 5th, and then hit it again. Then we hit the 5th fret twice and the 6th fret twice as a walk-up. Alright, so let's take it from the last suspended. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now we start the verse. The verse starts, we're going to be going from E to A. Alright. The E will go 2, 4, and then hit the E string, and then 2 more times on an E, and then 4. So again, then we go to A, and there's a slight pause. So this E with that first A hit is kind of like the first quarter measure. Alright, then we start again, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 4. Alright, so we have this all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, again. And there is quite a bit of palm muting going on there, kind of semi-palm muting I should say. Just play with the feel, really. It's just a great groove. Alright, so when we come back to our E, there's a little trick he does. And it's basically kind of, it's giving us the feel of D sliding into E. All right. So the way he does it up here at the first position is hit the open 4th and 3rd string and hammers into 2. Then we catch the 6th string open, then back to 4, then open, then 2, 2, and 4. So slowly. Again. So it's a real cool move. It really keeps the groove moving along. So that's one measure. Now the second measure changes it up a little bit. He goes into an F sharp and then hits D twice and then A twice. So I'm going to do verse 1, the first two measures, so you can see how they work. Second time through the E, when he comes back to A, he changes the way he plays the A. He doesn't go to the fifth. He's going to hit A twice, 4, 2, A twice, and then 4. So, let me take you through the very last measure of verse 1. This is just kind of the groove changing to get us into the chorus. So that last measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that takes us into the chorus. Now the chorus, very similar to the intro, except we're going to add a D to G chords. Alright, so we're going to do our suspended to A, stop, and then do 2 to 4, then twice on the A, then a 4. So we have this to that point. Alright, then we go to a G twice and D twice. And then back to our A. So then we start over. Alright, so he only does the chorus 2 times through. So I'm going to play it at a medium tempo so you can follow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're into verse 2. I do want to mention in my notes where there are pauses, I just left the lines out instead of dashes between. There's no dashes, so that just represents a stop because I didn't know how else to really tab a stop here and then, groove and then stop at this point. So anyhow, when you see a little, no lines between it, that's a stop. All right, verse 2. So verse 2 will start out just like verse 1. Alright, the second measure of verse 2 is like the last measure of verse 1. Go through verse 2 because it's only 2 measures long. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chorus 2. Then we're into the solo rhythm. I'll play it for you for a measure here. So what we're doing, we first hit an F sharp power chord. 6th string, 2nd fret, 4th fret of the 5th string. Then we're going to reference that chord by hitting the 5th and 4th string, F sharp, back to the 2nd. Alright. Then we come back to 4 on the 5th and 4th string. So it's a back and forth. Then we go to an A, so this would be the 4th and 3rd string together, back to the F sharp, which would be the 4s on the 5th and 4th, back to 2 and 4. So let's do the whole thing slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go to a D, then G and D. And those are power chords, all right? So really that F sharp, as far as the dyads there, will repeat 4 times. On the 4th time, he doesn't do the G to D. He'll stick on D, and I'll show you what he does because it leads us to the interlude. So I'm going to go through the second measure of the solo rhythm, and you'll see the second time we don't do the G to D after a D. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that begins the interlude. So, like I said, the second measure of the solo, he goes up to a D here at the 5th position, and then adds on a suspended, or 7th if you want to think of it that way, with your pinky on the 2nd string at the 8th fret. So we're going to hit the D and the suspended twice, and then another D, and we'll do that twice. Then we move that to C. Do the exact same thing, except when we get to C, we're only gonna, we will do that twice, I'm sorry. Back to D with the suspended twice. Then, of course, we're gonna move to E, but he comes up to the 1st position E. He's gonna go 2, 4, 2, 2, 4, 2, and that will repeat 3 times. Then he'll do one more 2, 4, right quickly back into chorus 3. All right, so I'm going to do that last interlude. Well, let's do the whole interlude. All right, we've come from the D, so we're going to move to the C. And you can add some extra rhythms to it, so I'm going to add some extras other than just hitting C once and the suspended ones. Keep that groove going, okay? But you don't want to overpower the solo, although it's slide and it is pretty powerful. So, interlude, 1, 2, 3, 4. Chorus 3 goes into the stops. All right, so at the end of chorus 3, we're going to go G to D, then we'll hit one quick A. Then we go into the suspended to A, stop. And then he sings, and then we do this again, kind of a call and answer. All right, we'll do that suspended to A a total of 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 6th time he goes into G, D, and then A. All right, so I'm going to go through the last one into the G, D, A. So after we stop, coming back with that G, D, A to end chorus 3, we go into another solo rhythm. This solo rhythm is slightly different in the fact that he's going to go through what we've learned for one measure, as I just played. So when the vocals re-enter and there's still a solo going, because it leads into solo rhythm 3, all right, is the same as this vamp. So it's going to hit it twice, then muted, then again F sharp, then 3 mutes, then an F sharp, mute, and F sharp, then our D, G, D. It's harder to do slow. All right, let me try it again slow. Okay, so that carries on really till the end of the song. That vamp, you'll hear solo 3 come in for another measure, and then the vamp keeps going while the vocals re-enter with a call and answer that leads us to the end of the song. Okay, and basically that vamp continues on and the song will fade out. Okay, for the slide solo, we are in open E tuning. So if you fretted an E at the 6th position in open E, that is the tuning. So 6th string is E, 5th string is B, 4th string is E, 3rd string is G sharp, and then B and E on the 2nd and 1st string are normal. Okay. Just a quick note, I said I've never been real happy with this SG. And honestly, I was going to sell it. I was thinking about selling it, but then it came to me that maybe it'd make a great slide guitar. And sure enough, it has. So I got 11s on it. I normally play 10s. I did loosen the truss nut a half turn, and when I tuned it up to E, it kind of pulled it just a little bit away. And when I changed the strings, about a half turn on the up for the bridge. So that set it up real nice, and I can play slide a little more with a little more confidence versus worrying about fretting the notes. I also replaced this pickup with a 57 pickup from Buzzworks. I saw this on the Doug show, Doug and whatever his name is. Anyhow, I thought these were great sounding pickups, so I ordered a 57 for the bridge, and I really, really like it. So Buzzworks, look it up. I'll put a link actually to his site. Tom was a great guy. He got it to me in under a week. He had it in the mail, and that is built from order to shipping. So great guy, great follow-up, and I just wanted to give a shout out. So I'm going to play this first solo, and then I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, I'll just stop there. One other thing I want to add is I put a little compression on just to have the notes ring a little more sustained without kind of dying out. And it's a cheap diner pedal, and I'm going to buy a better one. This thing's a piece of crap. But that's what you hear, this little whistling maybe once in a while. It's that pedal. Alright, so I've written this out. What we're going to do, slide into the 10th fret on the 3rd string, and then we're just going to kind of slide back without really hitting it, and then striking 7 to 5 slid, and then 7 slid up to 10 again. So it'll sound like this. Then we hit 12 back to Then we'll hit 12, and then we hit 10, slid to 7. Then what we're going to do is slide back to 11. Alright, at that point, he holds it with some vibrato, then he's going to slide into the 7th fret, hold that, and then slide into the 9th fret of the 4th string. He doesn't strike it again, he just holds that 7 and then slides into 9. We're going to do the same thing then to 5 up to 7. Then to the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Then we'll slide that 2 up to 5 and strike it as we get there. Then we take off. We'll come in sliding on the 3rd string up to 5, and then hit 5 on the 2nd string. We'll do that back and forth 4 times. The last time when we hit the 5 on the 2nd string, we're going to slide up to 7 and then up to 10. Alright, and it's one sliding motion. You kind of pause at 7 and then up to 10. Now the next time what we're going to do after the 5s, we're just going to go directly to 10 and then slide back to 7 and 5. Then we do this. So what we're doing, sliding into that 3rd string at the 5th fret, and then we'll hit 5 on the 2nd fret and slide up to 7, then up to 10, and then hit 7 twice when we slide back. Then we're going to do that same up to 7, but then we go to 12 and back to 10. Then we grab 14, slid up to 17, and then 14 back to 12 and 14. So we have this coming into it. Then up to 16 and 17. It's on the 1st string. Back to 15. Up to 19. And then back to 17. And then again, the vocals have started to re-enter at that point, and then we're going to kind of do a little back and forth answer with him. So all together it should sound like this. As we enter with the vocals again, we're going to kind of do a call and response that's a little bit more of the slide, not stopping. We're going to slide on the 2nd string. This will be all this half measure will be all the 2nd string. So we're going to slide 5 to 7, 7 back to 5, 5 back to 7. Then we take 7 as we're holding it, slide up to 10, back to 7, back to 10. Alright, then we go up to 12, back to 10. Then we come up 15 to 17. Alright, 15 back to 17, 19. Then we're into solo 2. So that's kind of the end of it. It'll really help to play with this, slow it down a little bit, follow my notes. So solo 2 is it's kind of memorable, it just sounds really good. We're going to be on the 2nd string to start. It'll sound like this. So we're sliding on the 2nd string, 5 to 7, a lot of vibrato. then 7 bid back to, or slid back to 5, and then 5 slid back to the 3rd fret, and then hit the 3rd fret again. Then what we're going to do right there, we're going to take the 3rd string, slide up to 5, and then the 1st string slide to 3rd, both with some vibrato. Then we take the 4th string and slide from basically mid open to kind of between and to the 2nd fret. Alright, so that ends solo 2, and then we go into solo 3. In solo 3, we'll start out up here at the 12th fret. So we're sliding 12 to 14 on the 2nd string, then we slide into 10 on the 3rd. Alright, at that point, what we do is slide back 12 to 14, back to 12. And then we're going to do that again until 12 and then 14 and slid off. Alright, at that point, he comes back in with 10 on the 3rd string. Then we do our back and forth with the 3rd and 2nd string and the 5s, but it's a little different. We're not going to go, we're going to actually go to the 4th string. Then we take 7, slid to 9 on the 4th string. Alright, so it'll sound like this. Then what we do is slide 5 to 7, and then 1 to 2. That's all on the 4th string. Now we start to call and answer, and it's the same starting out with the 5 to 7s that we learned. Alright, and then we come in with just one 5 to 7 to 10, and then 10 slid back to 7. Alright, again. Then the vocals and guitar enter for the last 3 measures. We're going to repeat that riff that we just played 2, 3, 4, 8 times. So the very last solo that you hear fading out will come up to 17 and 19, and then kind of fade back from 19 to 17 to 15 as it's fading out. All right, it'll sound like this. Alright, so we come up 19 on the 3rd string, then we hit 19 on the 2nd. Then we hit 17, slide up to 19, and then hit 19 on the 3rd. Then we come back 3rd to 2nd, 19, slide back again, 19 3rd to 19 on the 2nd. So we have this. Then what we do is slide into 17, hit 17 on the 2nd, 15 on the 3rd, 15 on the 2nd. And that ends and we fade out. So like I said, you know, the extended version really goes on, and for me, it was a bit much, as slide tends to get on my nerves at that point. But, you know, I'm getting old, so that's why. But God bless y'all. I really hope it helps everybody. Download my notes, follow it. It'll really help you. It's a great song to play with a great groove. So I hope you enjoy.